we're gonna do a quick intro to Canvas, about an hour or so. We'll go over the profile, the inbox, the course, which consists of like the homepage, the syllabus, the modules, the different types of content that you'll create for a course. So pages, discussions, quizzes, assignments. We'll look at the people tab, which will give you an analytic view of like what your students are doing in the course, as well as the gradebook and some course settings, and then give you some additional info on how the dashboard's set up, how to migrate a course, and some ways that you can find some help through Canvas's own guides and their own support. So yeah. So let's go ahead and begin. So all of you should already have accounts in Canvas. And if you have any fall courses, they should also be live within Canvas. So if you haven't already done so, you can get to Canvas by going to american.instructure.com, or you can also use canvas.american.edu. Either way, they'll both send you here. Once you log in, you'll see the courses, the Canvas's dashboard, and it'll show a quick view of all your courses. But before we get to that, I'm gonna go ahead and go into the account section. So when you click account, you're gonna have a few options. The first one we're gonna wanna look at is notifications. Notification shows how granular Canvas can be. Within here, you can actually set how often you'll be notified by any type of interaction. So right on top, you see the different icons: notify me right away, send a daily summary, weekly, or nothing at all. So that means like for announcements, I'm getting notified every time someone sets an announcement, but maybe I just want them to come to me at the end of the day. I can set that here. So when you have the chance, go ahead and go through your notification preferences and just see which each one is, and see if it's set to your standards or if you want it to be notified more frequently or less frequently. Now we'll jump over to the profile section. Unlike Blackboard, you'll have the ability to upload your profile picture yourself. So this is where you would go ahead and do it under profile and click on the pencil icon, and you can upload a more recent picture if you'd like. You also have this option over here using the kebab menu to edit your profile, and you can go ahead and add a biography. Later on, we'll also be enabling the ability to add additional contact information, like if you would like to add another email or a phone number that they can reach you at. And once we get into the course, I'll show you where exactly students will see this information. The next area is your file area, and it's just kind of a repository of all the files that you have uploaded into Canvas. Not used too often, but just to know. And now settings is pretty cool for your students. So under the settings section, if your students are ever asking like that they would like to download all their assignments that they submitted, they can actually do this right from their settings. So that button right here, download submissions, that's where students can go and they can download anything they've submitted to Canvas. Another interesting thing to note is Canvas has a high contrast UI, and that's basically for ADA, where if a student's having issues, maybe seeing links or having issues with color contrast, they can come here and enable this. And I'll just show you real quick. You'll see on the course navigation how it changes. And now it's more visible what is a link versus what is just background content. So that is an option that is here that Canvas has for students that may have issues with contrast. Cool. So that's the basis of accounts. So let's go ahead and go on to the inbox now. So unlike Blackboard, Canvas has one global inbox, and it's right here on the global nav, and they also call it Canvas Conversations. So this is where you would do all communication for any of your courses. You'll be able to select them up here, a favorite course, if you will, and you can create a message right here as well, and go ahead and send it out to maybe the teachers. Well, let me actually pick a course, sorry, that has students in it. There we go. So now I can click teachers, students, or I can even click everyone in the course and go ahead and send them a message, add a recording or an attachment as well. So here was a message I got earlier of a student saying like they can, asking for you to reopen a quiz. And I'll show you later too that when someone sends you a message through Canvas inbox, it also goes to your Outlook email, and the same with the students. So any type of message communication that happens here will go to your american.edu, and you can actually reply directly from your Outlook message, and it will go straight back into Canvas. So now we're back on the dashboard, which is going to be your main view of Canvas. And here you have the course cards for all the courses that you have available for you. On top will be published versus unpublished. And you have the option to change the color that's displayed on top. You can nickname it, but that'll only be appearable to you. And you can also move these around to where you prefer. Additional things you'll see on the dashboard, this is for students as well. They will have their to-do items and anything coming up. So this is right here for them to view and see like what's coming up for all their courses that they're enrolled in. The dashboard has a few other views that you can look at. For a professor, the card view is the most used, but there is like recent activity, which kind of shows what's going on in all their courses. And there's a list view, which again, this is better for students because it just overlays all the assignments that are due and when they are due. So now we'll go ahead and go inside my course. So this is a training course I've set up for Intro to Canvas, but everything you see here on the homepage and when we get into the syllabus, this is a template that was created by AU for you guys to use. So I'll show you later on, but you can actually import this in from Commons if you like the way that this homepage looks and the syllabus. So homepage, when you come into Canvas, you can actually set up your own homepage. So right now, this is just a normal page. You know, you can come in and edit it, and you'll notice that the text editor looks exactly the same everywhere we go in Canvas, so you'll become very familiar with it. But you can add a title, you can add a video, add some context, and so on. So this is just a normal page, like how any page you would create in Canvas will look similar to this. So if you want to add content for them to read, this is what the editor will look like. Over here on the menu, you can add hyperlinks, you can add images, you can add media that you can upload in, upload a document as well. And using this plug icon, you can add in content from maybe another LTI. So one that you'll probably be using a lot is the Kaltura Media one. So you'll be able to click on that right there. And anything you have uploaded into my media area of Kaltura will appear here for you to embed into the course. And all that can be done from the text editor window up here. Cool. So any changes you make, you'll go ahead and save it. If you do like to look at the code and are a little bit more edited and you like to edit there, you can go ahead and use this icon right here and you can check out the code and do your formatting. Click save or cancel, and there you go. So back to the home page. Now, the home page, like I said, is right now it's set to a page, but you can actually change what it's set to. Using this you choose home page button right here, I can set it to be the syllabus, the course modules, maybe the assignment list, or an activity stream, which is kind of what I showed on the dashboard that showed announcements that are coming up and everything. But I'll go ahead and select the syllabus for now. And as quick as that, the home page is now set to the syllabus. So whenever the student comes in, this is the first thing they'll see. But I'll go ahead and set it back to the home page. And now let's go ahead and jump into the syllabus. So again, this template comes from Commons. It's by AU. So if you guys do like this, you can copy this over later. But this is a template. This is the syllabus that we have to show. So you can go ahead and add in some additional info on the top, add course objectives, and then we have some policy and procedures that are from AU as well. Now, the cool thing there's a few cool things about the syllabus actually. So on top of the fact that it's all written right here for the student to see, any assignment you create in Canvas will automatically appear on the bottom of the syllabus. It'll appear here with its due date along with some additional information. And as a student, when I scroll to the top of the syllabus, there's actually this calendar right here. And as you can see, I've been using this training course a lot. So this is kind of what it would look like in the middle of your semester already, where there was a bunch of assignments already due, plus assignments that are coming in the future. And as a student or even the professor, I can go ahead and click on that date, and it'll take me directly to that assignment that's due. So it's a pretty neat feature of the syllabus. Also, the syllabus is very printer friendly, as you see here. And in case you still want to upload your own PDF version of the syllabus, that is fine. You can go ahead and come back into the text editor like I showed previously, and using that upload document option, you can go ahead and upload a PDF version of your syllabus to add. So that is the syllabus. Now going on to announcements. Announcements are very much like Blackboard. You'll create an announcement here that'll be broadcasted to all your students. They'll get a notification in their Canvas inbox, as well as their Outlook, as well as their email handle. So you go ahead and create an announcement, add a title, stay safe while learning, add your content. In this case, I'm going to upload an image. Going back to my car because I forgot my mask. And just like that, I added an image to my announcement, and now I can go ahead and post it to all sections, or in the training case course I'm using right now, it's actually a cross-listed course. So anybody who has multiple sections that they would like to merge into one course, this is a really cool feature of Canvas. When you create any type of assignment, announcement, discussion, or quiz, you can actually create that specifically for a section or for your whole course. So I am posting to all sections, but let's say if I only wanted 102 to see it, I can choose that as well. There we go. Now I can also delay posting. So maybe I want to post this tomorrow. I can allow commenting, I can allow liking and podcast feed. So we'll go ahead and click save. And now my announcement is there for all to see. Clicking on the announcement tab brings you back to the view of all the announcements that have been created previously so that the student can review. And anything that I haven't seen already has this little blue dot right here showing me that it's an announcement that I hadn't seen yet. And now when I go back, it's gone. Okay. So now onto the modules. So modules is going to be like the meat and potatoes of your course. This is where you're kind of going to make the flow of your course so that students they'll really be going here to see how they should be going through it. And what you're going to do is you're going to add all the content you would like them to read, as well as the assignments. And generally modules are set up in a weekly basis. So if there's 16 weeks in a course, you'll probably end up with 16 modules, each one having the content for that week. Some cool things about modules are, let's say you don't want them to go into module 1 until they go over module 0, getting started. This is a module that comes with the Commons template. This module is essentially just information for a student that might not know how to use Canvas. So it has like a Canvas overview, as well as additional content for them to learn how to use their notifications, how to use their calendar and whatnot. So let's say I want them to make sure that they go over module 0 before they start module 1. So I can go ahead and set that by using the kebab menu on the module and click edit. Here, I'm allowed to set prereqs and requirements. So if I go ahead and set a prereq, I can select a module that is listed before that one as a requirement. So now the student will have to complete module 0 before they can actually access module 1. So what is completing a module? What does that mean? Well, that's under requirements. There's different types of requirements you can add. It could be just clicking through everything in sequential order, or it could be you want them to specifically look at this page and view it. So now once they view this page, that's when the module will be considered complete. Another option, maybe you want them to take the quiz, but you want them to score at least 2 points out of it. So all that can be set at the module level. And when you go ahead and update the module, continue, it'll be listed here for the student to see. Prereq module 0, and the student will also see right here, score at least 2 to continue on to the next module. And using this plus sign would be where you would go ahead and add an additional assignment that you already previously created, a page, maybe a discussion or an external URL or tool. You can also create directly from the module, but we'll be creating assignments, modules, and assignments, discussions, and quizzes in their actual sections. But you can go ahead and do it here, and that'll just be creating the shell with its name, where you'd be able to add more to it later. So this is modules. Other things to mention is, again, you can drag and move these around. This green on the side is whether it's published or unpublished or not for the students. So while all this content's there for the student once the course is published, maybe you realize this page is not fully done yet. So I can go ahead and click unpublished, and now when a student comes in, they'll see everything but that item. So you can publish things at a module level or by specific item level. Go ahead and fix my modules before I move on. Okay, perfect. Put that here. Cool. Now let's move on to assignments. So as you can see, I already have a few assignments here, but we'll go ahead and create one by using this blue button on the top. And now I mentioned previously, Canvas, the text editor, you'll see it everywhere. Now, everything you see in the assignment, a lot of this is going to be transferable to discussion and quizzes. So they made their editing system very similar so that you can learn it quickly and be able to create quickly as well. So we'll go ahead and create assignment 3, add some type of description. You can go ahead and set its point value here and set the assignment group here. So what's interesting about assignment groups is you can weight your course based on, maybe the whole course is 20% assignments, 30% quizzes and all that. So that's where you would select the assignment group and kind of set it that way. And then display grades as points, letter, grade scale, whatever you use. So the most common submission type for an assignment is going to be online. The other options is no submission, so you're just inputting a grade for that student on paper, very similar to no submission, but that they gave you something and they gave you a physical copy, and so you're just importing it. And then external tool. External tool would be where you would link in an LTI. This is where you could link in like VoiceThread, wherever it is. There we go, VoiceThread, Kaltura. When Turnitin becomes available, you'll also be able to link it in here, and like WW Norton. But let's go back to online. So submission type online. You have a few options. Text entry being them just inputting it right into the text field. Website URL, media recording, and then of course file uploads. The cool thing with file uploads, let's say you keep telling your students, I only want Word documents and PDFs, but for some reason they keep submitting PowerPoints. You can go ahead and restrict the upload file types right here. So I can actually just write in doc and PDF. And now when a student goes to submit, they'll be informed and they'll be prevented from submitting anything outside of a doc or a PDF. Submission types, unlimited versus limited. For assignments, it's usually set to unlimited, and that allows the student to continue to submit until the assignment is due. But if you only want them to submit once, you can go ahead and change that here. Group assignments. I'll show you later in the people tab how to set up a group, but a group assignment, as it sounds, you'll have an assignment that when you go to grade it, it'll affect multiple people's grades versus just one. And you could also set up group leaders, so they would be the only one to submit as well. Peer reviewing, if you would like each student to review each other, you can have that option here. Moderate grading and anonymous grading, that's if you have TAs that are grading. Moderate grading, that would be the TA grades, and then you kind of go in at the end and give the final say. Anonymous grading, if you don't want the TA to know what student they're grading, they will just see student 1, student 2, student 3, and so forth. Now the big section here in assignment, and that's important to note because again, you will see this right here assigned to in a discussion, you'll see it in a quiz as well as an assignment. So good area to note. So right now it's set to everyone and you can go ahead and give it a due date. And let's say it's due tomorrow. So this is what you would normally see. Now the cool features that Canvas has, as you see right here, there's an available from and until window. So let's say I put this assignment that's due tomorrow on Friday, but I don't want the student to see it until tomorrow either. I can actually set that it's available from, 12 a.m. on Friday. So now, right now, if a student were to come into my course, they wouldn't see this assignment, but come midnight, they would. The same can be done with the until. So right now it's due Friday night, but let's say I'm actually lenient and I take in late work. So I can actually set this to be open until Saturday night. So now what will happen is if a student submits after Friday and on Saturday, it'll show up as late. It'll show up as late for them and it'll show up as late for you. And at that point, you can either grade it late yourself, or in the grade book, there's actually something called late policy, and it'll actually do the deduction for you. So if I have late book and I have the late policy enabled, if I give that student 10 points and they're late by a day, it'll automatically adjust to giving them 9 points instead. Cool things also to mention about the sign too. As I mentioned, my course is cross-listed. So right now it's set to everyone, but I can just have this set to just my first section. Section 101 is due on Friday. Or maybe I can even say, I like section 101, everything for them due on Friday, but section 102, I like that all their stuff is due on Monday. So now both sections are gonna take the same exact assignment, but it's due on different dates by my preference. Another thing to note, as I mentioned earlier, I had a request from one of my students that they weren't able to do the assignment on time. So I can go ahead and select that student and provide him a separate due date from everyone else. So now whenever anyone but Han Solo comes into this course, they will see the August 14th as their due date. But when he comes in, he will see that he has an additional 4 days to complete this assignment. So all that is handled in the sign section. And again, the sign section is seen in assignments, quizzes, and discussions. So go ahead and save and publish this assignment. So, and you get a warning too if you're not assigning it to everyone. Go ahead and save and publish this assignment. And now we have an assignment Dropbox right here. But I already submitted to one of my assignments I had previously created. So we'll go ahead and check that out so I can show you what an assignment will look like once someone's uploaded to it. So here we are. This is my assignment 1 that I previously created. I see that I already graded 2 out of 3 submissions that are there. And I can download all the submissions in case I want to grade off-site. You know, I'm going remote, or I can go ahead and grade within Canvas's SpeedGrader. SpeedGrader is also available for assignments, quizzes, and discussions, and is one of Canvas's best tools. So let's go ahead and launch SpeedGrader. So right now we're in SpeedGrader. This is how an Excel sheet would look inside SpeedGrader. That's just an upload that I had there. This is when no one submits. This is a Word file, which we'll go back to. And then last is the text entry. So this is how a text entry would look. And this is a text entry. And as you can see right up here, the student submitted late. So right there, it's marked that they submitted after it was due, but while the assignment was still open. Now let's see. So most people will submit as a Word doc, which is the nicest view inside the SpeedGrader. And as you can see, you can go ahead and highlight specific areas that you want to bring note of. Oh, I'm drawing now. You can draw to pinpoint exact areas. You can make references as well and leave a comment here. And you could also leave comments on the side, as I've done previously. Good job. The comment on the side can also consist of maybe an attachment if you want to add in the rubric. Maybe you would like to, instead of writing your comments, you might want to record something. You can record with the camera or you can record with it off. I know some professors have mentioned they rather record their critiques than write it so that students can understand tone. And then this is text to speech, kind of like when you say, hey Siri, text this person this, that's that last option right here. So yeah, and everything that you add into here, the student will be able to see once they go review their own assignment in the assignment grader. Cool. Some other options you'll see here, as I mentioned, once you're in SpeedGrader, you can kind of iterate through everyone that's in the course, even if they haven't submitted. You can see additional options about the assignment. You can go straight to the gradebook, but we're going to go back to just the assignment area. So before I move on to quizzes and discussions, one thing to note about the assignment tab will show any type of gradable material. So while the quizzes tab and the discussion tab, quizzes tab will only show quizzes. The discussion tab will only show discussions, but assignments will show anything graded. So it'll show both quizzes, assignments, and discussions. So that's one thing to note about the assignment tab. It'll just show anything graded, not just something that's labeled as an assignment. Let's go on to quizzes. So we'll go ahead and create a quiz. Similar to assignment, there's a blue button on the top right. Quiz 5. Details. Quiz type. Most likely you're going to set it to a graded quiz. You can create a practice quiz, which will have no grade. Practice assignments and assignments that have 0 grade will not show up in the syllabus, and they will not show up in the gradebook, but they will still be present for the student to take. You can also set it as a survey or a graded survey. It'll look exactly the same, but again, you just have additional options to set it as, and then give it an assignment group. Options you have, you can shuffle answers, you can provide a time limit, provide multiple attempts, and you can also let students see the correct answers after a certain time. This is great because I'm sure as professors, you want to give students the correct answers so that they can learn, but maybe you don't want to give it to them right after they take the exam, since they took it, they were the first ones to take it that morning, and there's still 3 days left. So, you can set the correct answers to show after everyone's taking the exam so that, there's no sharing of answers. You can set it so only one question shows at a time, and then you can restrict access, but that's not used too often. And again, we come down to the assign to window, where again, you can set an assignment date for everyone, just a specific section, or just a specific student, and give it from and until date. Now let's go ahead and add a question. So you come over to the question tab and you have 3 options: new question group, find questions. This is if you're using test banks, you'll go ahead and use these over here. But if you want to know more about that, we do have separate trainings that are specific for creating assignments. So when you come in here to create a question, you have multiple choices to choose from. Of course, multiple choice being the most common. True or false, fill in the blank, and additional questions that a lot of these you have also seen in Blackboard, so they should be familiar. So we'll go ahead and add a multiple choice question. And now we can go ahead and input our possible answers. Yes. No. Maybe. And additional options you have here, these little squares down here, that would be comments that you would like to provide to the student when they answer that specific one. Good job. Sorry. And then the arrow over here is you setting which is the correct answer. So as you can see, the one that's in green would be set to correct, as the others will stay red. One thing to note when you are creating a question, always make sure you click update question once you're done. Because if I were to click save and publish or to go off screen, there's a chance that your question will not actually be saved. So you always have to click the actual update question button when you're complete so that it shows up here. So now I'll go ahead and save and publish. And there goes my quiz. Now, again, I'm going to jump into a quiz that I already previously created, and there's fake student information already there. So let's go ahead and check out quiz 1. So again, they see the description, they see the name. We can go ahead and moderate this quiz. We can also preview this quiz first. So previewing, it would be kind of like how the student would see it. You can go ahead and take this quiz just like a student. When did America claim its independence? 1776. What ignited the Boston Tea Party? What was Paul Revere known for? British equipment. And kind of see how they would have taken it. So once you preview the quiz and it's available for your students, you'll have the ability to see quiz statistics, which will show you a breakdown of how often people get which questions right. You'll be able to moderate this quiz, which is one of the cooler sections of Canvas. So under moderate quizzes, you can see all the students that have taken it. They can see how much time they've taken and their score. You can also set additional things like give someone an additional attempt. So maybe you don't want to give the whole course an additional attempt, just this one student. You can set that here. And as you can see, I've given 2 of my students already an additional attempt for them to take it. And another thing I can see, if I go ahead and click on a specific student, I can see their specific exam. So I can see how they did, and I can also see logs for that exam. which is a pretty neat feature because I'm sure everyone's gotten cases where a student might say that, they had issues on an exam and they would like you to reopen it. So you can go ahead and come over here to the action logs and you'll be able to see exactly what happened during the exam. I can see at 4 seconds, they answered number 1, and at 17 seconds, they left Canvas. They actually left Canvas for about 15 seconds before they came back. So it's a little neat feature that you can see, and you get to that by going inside the quiz, moderate this quiz, select the user, view logs. And you'll be able to see how they did and what they were doing. The last option, again, you have SpeedGrader. SpeedGrader isn't used that often when looking at quizzes, but it's still here. And you can go ahead and see how they did here. Go ahead and view the logs. Another cool thing to mention, which you have the ability to in assignments, you can provide fudge points and extra credit. So right here, let's say this was actually a fill in the blank question and they answered it so well that you want to give them extra points. You can go ahead, give them 2 extra points, and it'll just work here. And down here, it's adjusted where the final score is now 4 out of 3 because those 2 extra points. But let's say I really like the student. I want to give them another 3 extra points outside of what they actually scored. I can give another 3 points just cause, and it'll go ahead and update on the final score. And the student will also see that they receive extra credit where you placed it. And again, right here, you can add additional comments, attach rubrics, any type of media, whatso. So that is the quizzes section. Now let's go ahead and go into discussions. So discussions work similar to Blackboard. Go ahead and create one. Again, you have a title that you can add, a description. You can post to all sections or just a specific one. You can allow for threaded replies, which I'll show. You can set it so users must post before seeing replies, which is always a great feature. You can create it graded, and you can allow liking. You can also set for it to be a group discussion, so only those students in specific groups will see the discussion. If you set a group discussion, each group will have its own discussion board so that they can post it. You can set how many points. And again, you have the assign to window down here. So we'll go ahead and go into the intro post. Actually, before I do that, when you do see a post that people already submitted to, over here, you have 2 numbers that will appear. You'll have how many replies there are total, and you'll have how many replies you have not seen yet. So it's a cool little feature that you have right here to kind of give you an overview of discussion posts and what you need to go to. So now I open it up. There's my topic right here, and here's my students. Right here is a threaded discussion, threaded post right here. Like this student replied directly to him, and that's why there is no space here. And as you can see, someone also liked this one. Here is a separate response where it's actually broken and it's on its own. And again, there's a blue dot whenever it's something that you haven't seen yet. And now I created a group discussion. There's nothing in it, but when you create a group discussion, it'll appear like this where you can actually peer inside that specific group and see what they did. Some last areas to mention that you have access to: files and pages. Files, again, kind of like the files I showed at the account level, everything you upload into this course will be available for you there, and you can manage it at that point. And then pages, we briefly went over it at the home page, but under pages, this is where you would go create a page that you want a student to review before they actually do a quiz, and you'll be able to modify a page as shown previously by going into the text editor and adding the content there. Cool. So now that you know the overall layout of a course, you can go into settings as well, and you can modify your course navigation. Now, before we modify the course navigation, you'll notice that some of the items on my course nav have this I next to it versus other ones that don't. As an instructor, everything that you see here will always be available to you. But anything that has an I next to it is unavailable to students. So when a student were to come into this class, they would only see everything from pages and above. But you can modify that under navigation. But before it gets that, under settings, course details, you can modify your image right here. So this is where you would change the image that you would see when a student sees it on the dashboard, that course card, or when they see it somewhere inside the course. Now we go ahead and go to navigation. And again, this is where you would kind of drag and drop what you need versus what you don't. So I don't need them to see pages, and I'm actually going to use Zoom in my course. So pages is going to disappear and Zoom should move up when I click save down here. And as we see, Zoom is now up here, and pages has the little eye icon next to it, meaning that students can no longer see it. So then, now let's talk about the students in your course. So when you click on the people section, you can see everyone that's enrolled. Cool thing about Canvas enrollments are live and they'll automatically be pushed. So if a student adds or drop, they'll automatically appear here and you won't have to worry about it. So when you come into this section, you can see a few things. First, if a student comes in the section and clicks on your name, they'll be able to see that biography that we mentioned previously that you can edit in the profile section. So they'll be able to see it all here under the people section. Now you, as a teacher, if you were to go ahead and click on a student's name, you can see some cool analytics. You can see kind of how well they're doing their class, if their participation's high versus if their participation's low. And you can also see some analytics like how often they're showing activity, how often they're reaching out, are they submitting assignments more on time or are they submitting them late, and how well their grade is versus the rest of the course. So these analytics are pretty useful when you want to try to figure out if a student's trying or they're not. You can kind of figure that out here. Other things you can do in the people section, if you have a TA or you have another instructor that you would like to add, you can use this plus people on top right here and go ahead and add that user, set them to TA or teacher, and click next and enroll them. As I mentioned too, you can set groups, which as you can see, here are some group tabs up here. You will use this group set button, name the group, split them into the amount of groups that you need. You can set it manually or you can have it automatically set the groups for you. Once you create the group, the tab will appear up here, as you can see, and you can go ahead and view them and modify them how you want. I want Han Solo to go over to group 2, so I can make that adjustment after it was split. And again, you can assign group assignments, discussions, and that's about it. Cool. Let's go ahead and go into the gradebook. So the gradebook is, well, of course, you'll be submitting your grades directly in the assignments or the quiz, but you can also come directly to the gradebook and do it. So I can see that there's a test student they submitted here. I can go ahead and give that grade, or I can look at it within the speed grader if I haven't decided what they should have gotten. I can give it a status of late, missing, excused, and leave a comment there for me to see. I can also set the gradebook to be sorted in different ways based on due date, based on student's name. And there we go. I can export the gradebook and import it back in. I mentioned late policy earlier. You can set that over here on this cog menu. And this is where you would set the late policy of how much % to take off per how many days the assignment is due. So before I show you what it'll look like for a true student when they look at their gradebook, for your knowledge, every course has a student view. And as you kind of saw in the gradebook, I showed that there was a test student score. So you can get to your student view by clicking on the student view button on the home page. And now you're peering into the course as a student would. As you can see, all those additional things on the navigation are gone because I'm no longer a teacher in a sense. And the student view can let you take an assignment that was due or is due. It's locked. I think this one's locked too. Yeah, they're both locked. Okay, but you can go ahead and create, take the assignment as you would if as a student. And as long as you don't reset the student, kind of like in the same as Blackboard, that content will still be there. And as an instructor, you can go ahead and grade it as long as you don't reset that student. Now, I'm going to use OB1. So some cool features as an actual student in your course. When they go to the gradebook, as you see, they have a notification right away showing that something was graded. And when he goes into the gradebook, he can see what exactly it was, how many points he got, and he can also get an overall look at how well he's doing in the course. Cool thing about the gradebook for the students, there is this thing called what if. So what if is, I can kind of essentially guess what my grade will look like depending on how well I'll do on this next assignment. I know I'm not going to be here for the group assignment. I didn't submit anything, so I'm going to give myself, 2 points maybe. And I can go ahead and check, ooh, that's where my grade's going to go down to if I only get 2 points on that group assignment. But what if I try really hard and I submit everything by tonight so I can still submit with my group and I get a 9? Okay, so my grade will stay around the same. So they can see all that right here. And the great thing about it is as soon as they refresh or they click that revert score, it'll go back to their actual grade in the course. So they'll only see it for the time that they're messing with it. Now, let's see. Let's actually go to assignment 1 so I can show you. Oops, wrong one. There we go. Cool. So now this is the student that I looked at previously in SpeedGrader. So you can see if I click view speed feedback right here, and if I had downloaded the document too, all that comments would be there. But I can go ahead and view within SpeedGrader, and I can see all those comments previously made by the instructor. So I can see the highlights and everything else that's there, as well as those additional comments on the side. So all that will be viewable by the student. Okay, so that is a course in a nutshell. So continuing on with that. As I mentioned before, this is your dashboard. The other view that you have of all your courses is the course icon. And that'll essentially show you every course you have. And the reason why they have these 2 views is if you go ahead and click these stars on the course section, and I'm basically telling Canvas, these are the most important courses to me. These are the courses I want to see on my dashboard. I only want to see these 5. And now when I go to Canvas, my dashboard, I only see those 5 courses. The thing to note about this is now that I have starred my courses, I am managing what I see on my dashboard. So if a new enrollment comes in, I will not automatically see it here. I will have to go into courses and find it and select it. Or you could always just leave everything unstarred and all courses will automatically appear here. So it's up to you how you want to manage it. Just remember that if you do use the starring feature, any new enrollments that come after the fact, you will have to find them under courses. They won't automatically appear in your dashboard section. Another awesome area of Canvas is the Canvas calendar. So as you can see, all the assignments are here, well laid out for me to see. Some additional things I can do, I can decide, assignment 1 is due on the 22nd. No, I want to do on the 21st. And I can make that adjustment right here. I grab it, I move it over, and now it's changed in my course, it's changed on the syllabus, it's changed on the student side too. Let's say I want to add an assignment for this Saturday. I can go ahead and do that as well. I can add its date, its location, all that. And now assignment 5 is newly built and it will be within my course for students to take. This is just a shell right now, so I'll still need to go in and develop the assignment more, but now they know that something will be due on Saturday. You can also select which courses you want to see versus which ones you don't on your calendar. And another cool feature is the calendar feed. So you can go ahead and take the Canvas calendar feed and input it into your Gmail or your Outlook, wherever you would like. But one thing to note is that connection is one way. So while anytime you update things on Canvas's side, it'll automatically update on Outlook. If you try to change anything in Outlook on your calendar, it will not feed back. You'll just be messing with your Outlook calendar. So this connection is one way. It's just so you can view in Outlook, but you still would be making all your modifications within Canvas. So as I mentioned previously, that template that you saw in my course, it came from Commons. Canvas Commons is a repository for instructors, essentially from all over the world. They're providing different types of information for you to use. It is currently set so that you will see things that are approved by DC, AUDC, but you can also just search on top or remove that little search with preference. But we're gonna go ahead and look at the template that I was using, which is the second one right here, American University template course. You can see some information about the course, additional details about the author and version notes, and then you'd go ahead and click the import download button over here. When you click the import download button, you'll see a list of all the courses you have access to. You'll go ahead and click that specific course that you need it to be imported to and click import course. You'll see a little sign like that, and then in a few minutes, that import will happen. I should have clicked my sandbox course. It hasn't been completed yet, but I can check on the status under import existing content. And there I see that my import is going ahead and it's running through. So I'll wait a few seconds. And now when I look at my course, it will have the template. The home page needs to be swapped, but it's here. It's one of these pages. But yeah, the template was applied to my course. So, and I can see that here in the syllabus section. Additional things to note, Canvas does have a help section. They have a 24/7 chat right here. If you go to help, chat with Canvas support, and it'll send you to this little widget where you can add your name, your email, as well as a subject, and you'll be put in a queue to speak to a Canvas representative. Generally, this normally takes somewhere between about 5 minutes to connect. But recently, due to the pandemic situation, Canvas has had a lot of requests come in, and you can see wait times up to almost 40 minutes to an hour. So right now, it may be best to still just email help desk, email canvas@american.edu. But this is an option. Maybe Saturday you're trying to get help real quick. You can go ahead and try this. Just be wary that right now it's not as instantaneously as it should be. Let's see what else is on my agenda. Okay, cool. So another thing to note. So let's say you would like to know something about Canvas. So I had mentioned previously the gradebook policy, right? But I don't really know how to set it up. So a cool thing that Canvas has is they have Canvas community guides. So I can basically look up anything inside Canvas community, Canvas gradebook, I'll just write community though, Canvas community gradebook, late policy. So I can write in anything Canvas community, late policy, and I'll go to their own website and I'll be able to see one of their guides. And their guides are very well written, very well displayed too, and it'll kind of just take you through that area that you're looking for. And so I could follow this and go ahead and set up my gradebook the way I needed. And again, that's just anything that you need within Canvas by Googling Canvas community and then that item, and you can find a guide on it. So the last thing I have to show, I can show a course migration and a course copy. So migrating from Blackboard and then a course copy to Canvas courses. And then I can open up for questions. Yeah. So let's go to Blackboard. In your Blackboard course, you would want to go down to Course Management, Packages Utilities, Export Archive Course. Go ahead and click Export Package. And we do have guides on this if needed. And so the first setting is generally correct, where it's copy links and include copies of courses. The second link, though, is the one that you're going to want to correct, where it says copy only links to files stored outside. You're going to want to change it to copy links and include copies. What this essentially is doing is, let's say you have a PowerPoint or a Word doc in your Blackboard course that is orphaned, where it's not actually being linked out to anything, but it's still necessary for a course. By changing it to the second option, it's making sure to include those files that are just sitting in Blackboard without it being linked to anything. Go ahead and click Select All, or click on what specifically you would like to copy over, and then click Submit. Now my sandbox is empty, but this is where the export will show, and you can go ahead and click and download it there. On Canvas side, where's my import course? There we go. So on Canvas side, you can go here. You can go click import existing content right here from the home page, or you can go settings, import course content. I'm going to clear out this course real quick, and before I do that though, there we go. So now this course is completely blank. As you can see here, this is what a blank course looks like. And now I am copying a Blackboard file. So I'll use the Blackboard 6789. I can drag and add it like that since it's right here, or I have a few exports already in my file, in my folder. Go ahead and click that one, all content. Now, some additional options while you're importing. If you do have a test bank, this is where you can set it so that that test bank transfers over to a test bank within Canvas. You also have the ability to change events and due dates. So essentially using this option, maybe all your previous assignments were due on Tuesday of 2019, you can change it so that everything's due on Monday of 2020. So that's how you would use the adjustments down here. And then you go ahead and click import. There'll be, you'll see it upload. I wonder if I picked the big file. You'll see it upload, you'll see it run, and you'll see it, and then you'll see it be completed. And then it'll all appear here. While it is uploading though, you will have to stay on this page. If I do refresh, it'll cancel the upload. Yeah. I'm going to cancel it though, because it's not my course anyways. But yeah, once it's uploaded, you'll see it here completed. And again, kind of like how the course copy, you'll see it automatically appear within the course. Now, how to complete a course copy. Once the course is within Canvas, so let's say I wanted to, which will actually be a quicker copy over too. Let's say I wanted to import my sandbox into this course. So I can also go to import existing content, copy a Canvas course, and now I can search for a course. You'll only be able to see courses that you have, that you are enrolled in. So no worries about, selecting someone else's course by accident. Go ahead and select there, select all, and import. Since that course is already in Canvas, I don't need to upload anything, and it's just queued. So we should see it move. But while that is going, that's kind of everything I have. So I'm also opening up for questions at this point. Let's see what we have. Want to choose 10 out of, so, okay, so I see one question about having 25 assignments and allowing students to choose 10 out of the 25. So I don't know how to set it off the back of my hand, but Canvas does have the ability to drop the lowest grade. So you could set them all as an assignment group and then tell it to drop the lowest 15 grades at that point. And I'm sure there's a Canvas community guide on how to do it. How to use students into groups for peer review and discussion. So once you have groups set up and you have them submit their assignments, you could also set it for them to be peer review assignments as well. Why is this import taking so long? You could also set it up for them to be a peer review as well. So I would be just clicking on those two options, setting up a group, as well as requiring peer reviews. And when the student goes in, they will be informed that they need to review 1 or 2 items, depending on what you set it to. Let me click on my course that actually has content. There we go. So you can automatically assign peer reviews or manually assign it and tell them how many they need to review for each. So all that is set up here within here. Can students see the people section? Yes, students can see the people section, but what they see is much less than what you can. And we'll go ahead and view. So when they go into the people section, they can just see the image, their name, and what section or role they have in the course. Versus when you're in the people section, you see their SIS ID, their activity information, as well as the analytics. You can allot an individual user extra time. Let's go ahead and go to quizzes. Quiz 1, yeah, do quiz 1. So I can give an extra attempt and that user. Oh, because there's no time limit, of course. Okay. Now that it has a time limit, I should be able to give extra time. Yes, now that it has a time limit, I can provide extra time for a specific student. So now, while everyone's getting 60 minutes, they're actually getting 160 minutes. I mean, yeah. Yeah. So you're providing extra time, not their total amount of time. Yes, your sandbox is your practice course. It's not linked to anything. And with that, I should also mention, so again, if you have a fall course that is running, you will already have a fall version of that course within Canvas. So if you are planning to use Canvas for fall, you'll want to make sure that that course is published, which this course is already published, so you won't see that button, but let's go to unpublished course. Cool. Yes, an unpublished course will have course status on the top. So you'll want to, if you're going to use Canvas for fall, you want to make sure your Canvas course is published and your Blackboard course is unpublished. If you're planning on using Blackboard for fall, that's fine. You can go ahead and keep using your Canvas shell, leave it unpublished, and you can work on it for future semesters. Another thing to note, you can't send out inbox communication or announcements until your course is published. We will have a better workaround in the future, but as of right now, if you wanted to send out something currently, you would have to publish your course, send it out, and then unpublish it until you're finished setting it up, and you want to make it actually available for those students. Can you assign different time limits for students? Yeah, we already went over that. Peer grading. Okay. Cool. So I think I covered most of the questions. Is there anything else anyone would like to know about?
Hi, Justin. This is Stefano speaking.
Hey,
So one question that I typed over here before was, what happens after the time that you have allotted expires? Does the quiz get submitted, auto-submitted, or is it just marked as late, or what happens? Thank
great
you.
question. Great question. So Canvas doesn't submit a quiz automatically unless the quiz expires. That's the only time that happens. So unlike how in Blackboard, where students, would be taking a responses lockdown assignment, and they might lose internet for a second, and then the assignment was submitted. In Canvas, the only way assignment will submit is if time expires or the student clicks that submit button. So if a student loses internet after minute 5 and they still have 55 minutes, well, they still have 55 minutes to log in and take that exam.
Thank you.
Yeah. I guess one extra quick thing to show, since quizzes was mentioned. Let's say you set up your quiz and you accidentally set the right answer to it being wrong. The wrong answer is set to being right. Be the better way to word it. So when you go into questions, let's say what ignited the Boston Tea Party? It's set to no taxation, but let's say it was really bad tea. So when you go to click on the new correct answer after a student, and this is after students have taken the exam, you'll be provided multiple options. And essentially your options are, you can either give everyone credit for the question, whether they got it right or wrong. You can change it so that people that had the previously wrong answer will no longer receive credit for it, or, or give everyone just points or no one points. So you do have a few options that you can see right here when in case you ever do mistakenly set the wrong answer in your test. All right, everyone. Well, if there's no additional questions, I'm glad you guys joined. I hope you guys the best in Canvas. And remember, if you would like, you can still use Blackboard for fall and set up your course to use for a future semester. It's all up to you guys at this moment. Have a good day, everyone.